Hardy Construction.
What's up, everybody? It's Hardy Construction. You can find us at hardyconstruction.tumblr.com, youtube.com/hardyconstruction, as well as facebook.com/the Hardy Construction with the host Comp and
Television Magnolia Street.
today's film is
They Look Like People, 2015.
They Look Like People, 2015, directed by Perry. Hey, thanks for moving the page, Danny. Now I can't see the director's name. Perry Blackshear. The movie is about...
Oh, the movie
God
is
damn
about...
it, don't control it, goddamn. We're in the actual same room recording, suspecting that people around them are turning into evil creatures. A troubled man answers questions whether... Oh,
questions. You can't even read it. A troubled man questions whether
to protect his only friend from an impending war or from himself.
I don't think that's an accurate description. Let's see what they say on here.
That's the whole plot.
The movie...
They Look Like People is a 2015... Alright, get off the goddamn thing. Alright, so me and Danny are here actually together in the same room. We usually record in different rooms. And you can see how great it is when I'm trying to read and Danny's controlling the internet. It's great. Anyway, so this movie is about a crazy guy. It's hilarious. It's written and directed by Perry Blackshear. And it stars... McLeod Andrews as Wyatt, Evan Dumichel as Christian, and Margaret Ying Drake as Mara.
It's not McLeod. That's Fox McLeod. This is MacLeod.
Very good. So,
that's a weird name.
What's the setup for this film, Danny?
It's about this guy who reunites with his long-lost friend.
How does the film start out?
Oh, how does it start out?
Okay, so there's a guy named...
staring at... his ex-wife or whatever.
There's a guy named Wyatt. He's sleeping comfortably next to his, presumably his wife or fiance, and it's total pitch dark. And we see that there's something up because he's just staring off camera, which is where his wife is or his fiance is sleeping, and she's completely silhouetted. You can make out basically barely any features off of her face, and that kind of sets a tone for the film of uncertain weirdness that kind of permeates throughout the whole
feeling,
picture.
Like, I can't tell you how many times as a little kid I used to think that, people would change into demons and shit. Like, I'm not, crazy like that guy is, but, like, that just used to be a fear of mine.
But the film, I think that tone, the opening of the tone, because the film is not an out-and-out horror film. I'm trying to figure out what film this is closest to that we've seen before, because this is as mumblecore, I think, as we've seen in any, besides...
Well, it did make me think of Resolution.
Resolution, right. Resolution and Bug are two films that I thought about while watching this film. So they're these sort of slow burn, high concept sort of horror films.
Yeah.
Bug was more of, I think Bug was like a stage play that they turned into a film.
Bug is fucking disturbing.
Yeah, it's very disturbing. And Resolution was a very high concept film. The fact that it was a found footage, but you don't know until the very end of the movie.
Resolution actually is like
that was a great
supernatural.
Movie. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And this film is, in one way, it is very mumblecore. It is very indie cinema. I mean, it looks great. They obviously, the guy who wrote and directed this film is also the cinematographer, so you can tell it was basically a one-man band
this was
sort
his
of.
Baby.
You can tell it was probably him and a sound guy basically doing I'm sure there was no more than 5 people on set during this film, I'm guessing. And it is shot in New York.
There's only like 5 actors in the whole thing, and really only 3.
Are you including the voice actors? Oh, there's a doctor.
There's a doctor, there's the friend with the concussion, and then there's like...
the shape of the fiance in the bed.
Right, but that could have even been
So,
one of them.
Anyway, the opening tone of the film, it really does set this sort of uneasy, and I didn't know anything about the film. I think it really is better to watch films without seeing trailers.
I always try to do that. What Thea recommended
this because there really is not knowing anything of what's going to happen going in, and there are certainly things in this film where you realize it is very independent and very low budget, but it doesn't ruin the film at all. It actually kind of helps that the movie is so threadbare.
Well, I like to think of like
simple.
Hitchcock and stuff. Like, they don't always show... Well, like Hitchcock and old school horror doesn't show like people's heads exploding and shit, but it still works.
There was only one time where you could see they didn't have the budget for something. There was a part where one character was having a nightmare where he was staring at his friend's face, and then a pair of hands come out of the darkness and split his face in half, but it cuts before the camera does it.
Yeah, right.
But you hear the sound effect, but you realize there's no sort of CG of the gore coming out of his forehead.
That would have been
Otherwise, anyway, so Wyatt is half of the duo protagonists of this
He
film.
looks so different without facial hair.
Yeah, he looks like a completely different guy. He has like
MacLeod.
It's McLeod. God damn it!
It's not McLeod.
Gosh darn it! He certainly looks like an average New York hipster. He's come down from North Carolina. It's sort of I guess his therapist was in New York before he moved to North Carolina with his fiance, so that's why he called him at the beginning of the film because he's setting up to meet him. Yeah, it's very confusing a little bit in the beginning. But he comes down to North Carolina. He runs into his friend, and I'm putting my fingers in.
They're friends.
No, I mean like he runs into his friend.
Oh, yeah, right.
And he kind of shambles his way into his not ex, but best friend's life.
They haven't seen each other in a couple of years.
Evan Dumichel, who plays Christian. Christian is a guy who reshaped his whole life. He is a guy that I guess both these guys have relationship issues.
Yeah, right.
Who hasn't?
Well, we don't know what actually happened to his ex-wife. It's possible he killed her.
It could be. I doubt it because I think there would probably be a trail. As soon as somebody is killed, you're the first person they'll look for is like the boyfriend or something. Honestly,
yeah.
And even though this is movie rules, remember he had the same issue with Mara. He saw her turn into a mutant and he just left.
Well, so he says.
Oh,
but then again, they were in a public space, so
That's
she
true.
knows kung fu or whatever the fuck.
Jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, Christian lovingly invites his friend Wyatt to stay with him because he hadn't seen him in a while. And this is when the shit starts to slowly hit the fan. And the movie is sort of ambiguous about what Wyatt is going through. As in,
is it real?
Is it real or it isn't? I don't think any of it's real. I think you can look at this film two ways, sort of like.
Well, at the end, it seemed like not real to me.
Right, me too. I think there are certain influences of They Live in the movie, no question about it. You never saw that one, right?
I know of it. I know it's a classic.
It's a disgusting shame you've never seen that.
There are
obviously yes, we should. There are obvious elements of They Live here, which is one person seeing some sort of secret society or secret nefarious, happenings going on while nobody else can. No sunglasses in this one, and
it reminded me of lizard people.
Basically, that whole theory of lizard people, you can famously look it up, and I'm sure there's a lot of Illuminati
lizard people include Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump,
okay,
Obama.
Anybody else?
Okay. The Koch brothers, or however you say their name.
They call them the Koch brothers.
Koch brothers.
Like the Koch brothers, yeah. So Wyatt is having this issue where he's apparently seen his fiancées. He doesn't tell anybody. He doesn't really explain to anybody what's going on until the last probably 30 minutes or 20 minutes of the film.
Right, yeah, he's very secretive about this.
And I don't think we should spoil the ending anyway, but we're sort of spoiling
they've
stuff.
already seen the movie.
That's true.
Yeah.
But anyway, the way that this illness is dealt with, you can see it in two ways, like I was saying. You can see it like They Live, or you can see it like Bug, where it's a mental illness drama that's done really well. You can literally see it in two.
Fucked up, though.
Yeah, you can literally see this film in two different ways depending on how you're wanting to watch it. I saw it as a mental illness drama.
Yeah, I saw it as a mental illness drama.
But I mean, it's really good. I think it's really done well.
It's creepy to be stuck in his head, basically.
And the movie's
so scary.
The movie's only like about an hour and 19 minutes.
Yeah, it's not long.
And I think a lot of it, the reason why I say mumblecore, because there seems to be a lot of sequences that were improvised.
Yeah, them running around in blankets and shit.
Because we get in, and I think that's the director going, let's see how these people interact with each other so we can care about them, which is good. But it's also, you can tell when it's improvised, you're sort of like, oh, they just fucking around. There's like, that's...
I like that kind of stuff, though.
Yeah.
As long as they keep it short.
Yeah, but they do that about 3 times in this film.
Yeah.
Where, like, Wyatt and Christian are having boyhood memories, playing with each other. And there's like playing with each other with their genitals, yes, because Danny was doing the finger quotes. And there was scenes where Mara's hanging out with them and stuff. But Mara is a girl who Evan works underneath at his job. It's not really clear what. I guess he's a programmer.
Well, they were in a whisper room, like a recording room.
Okay.
And it was soundproof, and it was in the office. So I'm assuming that maybe they make motivational tapes, which could tie into him having his ex-girlfriend make a motivational tape.
I think it's more of...
I don't know.
I think it's more of a...
There were computer cubicles, though.
It's probably one of those companies that deals with a bunch of different things, sort of like branding and advertising and sound and all that stuff. But anyway, it's sort of a nameless, faceless company that he works for. And Christian is this guy who used to be a real skinny twerp, like a loser when he was younger.
Right.
Which we can see because he listens to this motivational tape from his fiance that we find out later on that she recorded for him before.
Would she cheated on him or something?
No, that was
Wyatt.
That was what Wyatt said, but I think Wyatt was bullshitting covering his tracks.
She really left him because he's a horrifying person.
Yeah, he's probably a very frightening guy and showed some aspects of his life that scared her.
She didn't understand it.
But Christian is listening to these self-help tapes made by his ex-girlfriend. I wouldn't even I couldn't even fathom listening to an ex-girlfriend telling me how great I am.
That makes me cringe.
It'd be pretty unsettling, I think.
I guess he's still not over her.
Listening to an ex-girlfriend's voice is scarier than actual mutants.
Oh, look, people who like this also liked Baskin, Hush, and
Darling.
These other ones we haven't covered, but...
we're looking off the IMDb page. But Christian is a pretty complex character. I had a theory halfway through the film that Christian would be the one that would go insane and shoot everybody in his office, who apparently everybody dislikes him because of his sort of alpha male attitude and the way he treats people. And it is telling how his character is when he goes on a date with Mara and he has to bring Wyatt with him.
Right.
Because there's a sequence at the end when she's like, don't try anything funny, and you can tell she's joking, to not kiss her.
He's all insecure.
And then he goes, don't flatter yourself, which is a total, dick alpha male move to sort of regain any ground that he didn't have. He's obviously a guy who has low self-esteem.
Right.
Even though now he's quite in shape, he's handsome, and he's got some sort of job that is in good standing.
I could use someone like him. He could help me work out and shit.
Maybe you can use Wyatt, because Wyatt would be crazy and he'd
be
chasing you with an axe and scare you. But
and occasionally I'd fuck with him. I'd be like, ah! I rip my face.
But, Christian is I think they're actually all pretty solid characters. Wyatt, I think, is less complex than Christian is. Because, on the outset, we know that he's a crazy person.
Well, Christian's fucked up, too. He's just not
No, I mean the depth of the character.
Yeah.
I think we learn more about Christian than we do about Wyatt.
Yeah.
The defining thing of Wyatt is that he obviously has a mental illness or he knows about a conspiracy. Christian, we know that he was a total nerd,
and then he tried to kill himself.
And he tried to kill himself, and he also is reworking his entire life to become someone else, somebody that he's not. He doesn't feel he is really.
Yeah,
because there's people at work that don't like him.
Fake it till you make it.
And he's able to. He changed himself enough that he actually impresses this Mara character, who's very cute. She's a very cute girl, played by Margaret Ying Drake, and she's very approachable, and they feel realistic.
Why did she set him up to get fired?
I think what happened was it might be possible because there's a sequence in the film that because he's slowly getting into debt. I think he's going 36,000 or something like that. You said
36,000.
So he needs a raise or something or a promotion from his job. And Mara is he works underneath Mara. I think he was reading a book, an article that said how to date your boss.
Right.
So whether he was trying to actually liked her or he was trying to fuck up, upwards in the business.
No, he liked her.
There's two ways.
Because he said he's been thinking about it for 5 months. You don't think about that for 5 months.
And he had offered her that bottle of peach schnapps or something, and she said she'd thrown it out, and it kind of hurt him, but she actually still had it.
Yeah.
So their relationship, I like actually everybody's relationship in this film actually felt sort of realistic. It felt genuine.
That's the cool thing about mumblecore.
Yeah,
I guess
because that's an improvisation. My only thing is that there's a lot of forgiving in this film. But the thing is, people are complicated in real life, and they will forgive certain things.
I guess I could understand why he would let him tie him up and shit like that.
Would you personally let yourself be in that situation?
No, it depends how close I am with the person. If it's somebody I've known my whole life, and they're just going through some shit, I would do that, yeah.
But there certainly are sequences throughout this. I wouldn't even talk to people. I hardly talk to people now. Anyway, but... There are certainly sequences in this film where there's leaps in logic, where characters will allow stuff to happen. Not leaps in logic it's totally unbelievable, but you have to be a certain person to allow these certain events to keep happening. There's a sequence where Wyatt scares the shit out of Mara in a basement, and he goes and talks to her friend who sort of liked him.
Mm-hmm.
and to even fathom having a conversation with her, sort of like, what the fuck? It seems like, how does that happen? And when she kicks his ass in the street, she doesn't continue running. She just like, oh, I'll help you out, even though I broke your nose.
Well,
It's
because she saw he's like a little pussy.
yeah, and but I like how it's done. I mean, I think it feels real. Like I could understand like hipsters in Brooklyn going through this. Like actually, you know what I mean? They need some excitement.
Were they in
their
Brooklyn
life.
or were they in Queens? I kept thinking they were in Queens.
I think
I think they were in like Long Island City or
Is there
something.
a location here? But
I'll
it
look it up.
certainly looked like because there was all these areas with graffiti all over the wall, and it certainly looks like it was shot in Brooklyn. But because I've been all around Brooklyn before, and they look
No,
like.
I know. I know it's one of those.
Which character did you end up liking more or related to more?
I liked
Christian
because I mean
I think I related to Christian more. Yeah, I get it. And he is. It's sort of not. Neither of these characters are certainly over the top, and they could have played Wyatt certainly over the top, but they didn't. Everything felt sort of.
yeah, it felt very real.
Everything felt grounded. Mara's even an interesting character. It doesn't hurt that she's quite attractive woman.
She's super hot.
And she's very good acting. And there's also a scene with a psychiatrist.
USA filming locations.
Oh, that's
USA.
good.
Thanks.
That's a general. It's like 50 places we can pick. But I think, or is it 51? What's Hawaii? Never mind.
Oh, come on.
What did you think of the creepiness aspect of the film?
It definitely nailed the psychological creepy tension thing.
There is some actual palpable tension scenes in this film. Like there are 3 or 4 sequences that are very tensiony and unnerving. Like
Yeah.
you don't know what's going on, especially if you don't see the trailer for the film. And I think they did really well with that, especially the parts with the dream sequence when he's looking at his friend. In the
I
darkness.
hate the part where
That
he's in a
bothered you a lot.
restaurant with Mara. Like, ugh, blah. Hate that kind of stuff.
What, when her face morphs and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hate the idea. Like, that's what I always thought of. Like,
the part
as a kid.
the part in the basement when he takes Mara down to show her around. And he's also, the thing is, he's been getting these phone calls. Obviously, you never see the phone ring or anything like that. And he starts talking to this sort of his voice has been altered. And it's really cool scenes. I love that.
Jigsaw's final plan.
And he is getting these directions or these warnings from certain voices about who he's supposedly a holy warrior, and these are demons that are coming down. And
Right.
he
should talk to Bill Paxton from the Frailty.
He has no idea when this war is going to happen. Supposedly, he is only of a few that are aware that there's this big war coming between demons.
When they showed
humans.
the thunderclaps in the sky, it was only 2. They didn't show 3.
No, I think it was 3 because he heard the first one, then he waited, heard the second, then the third. That's when he decided.
Did they actually show the third one?
I heard 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought they left it purposely like, oh, the war's another time.
No, because he said it started early, so that's why he went down into the.
We also
basement.
don't know. Maybe Christian actually was changing into a bug person.
That's true. That does leave it.
And then when they took it off, he went back quick.
It leaves it ambivalent, but is it no
ambivalent?
Ambiguous. Ambiguous. Excuse me. But
Idiots.
yeah, I
learn English.
I liked how it's done. I certainly think that he wasn't really being attacked by demons. I think he just is mentally ill.
Well, they're not demons. They're insect people. We know they exist.
Whenever he hears like all these like a gaggle of flies, he knows that person is infected, or he feels that person is infected. And I liked it. I mean, it really is an independent film, but if you can appreciate a mental health illness drama, then you'd probably appreciate this film. But if you're expecting craziness, but it doesn't
feel like a drama, really. It's creepy.
It's like a stylized
you feel bad
drama
for the guy. Like, I definitely feel bad for the guy.
Like, yeah, because it's just I think it's really well done for an independent film, a low budget feature sort of film.
What was the budget? Let me look up the budget.
It's like $5, I think. But
doesn't say.
I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, I didn't know what was going to happen, and I think that's probably what helps. Right. And usually films like this, like I think nowadays, like you, I, and Thea were talking about how
I love these kinds of movies.
The home invasion sort of genre has to have a weird twist to it to make it interesting.
Yeah. And
this is that sort of conspiracy drama. But they did it well. Like for a small film and character
and he
horror,
could have killed somebody. It's possible.
It is possible. But other than that, I think it works. Is there anything else you want to add to it, or is
Not really. I'm trying to find the budget. Doesn't say, but I would guess it's less than definitely less than $1 million. I would think.
I'm trying to guess what they shot this with. If it's the one guy being the cinematographer who's also the director, he total control. And it's cut well. My only thing is that I wish they would shave down some of those improv scenes, but the movie probably would have been only an hour long.
Yeah, they could have shaved down a touch, but honestly, I think it was fine.
Yeah, but it's legitimately.
It only got 6.2 out of 10.
Well, people look at this poster and they'll probably think, "Oh, it's They Live Part 2." You know what I mean? They want to see.
Right.
That's the thing. Like coming into this film, you're not going to see people putting on sunglasses and aliens behind the fucking frames.
I love all that kind of shit too.
Me too.
But
I do too. But this is certainly more of a. I don't want to say a thinking man's film because They Live.
Well, this gets my artsy fartsy guy.
Yeah. It's that it does it for me as well, artsy wise. And anyway, rating I would give this. I would give it a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Cutie Asian girl that your friend likes, eyeballs morphing to the left and her smile getting gigantically huge like an old school bubble yum commercial.
Okay, I'm gonna give it 7. No, I like it. I would watch it again. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Allowing your friend to tie you up and gag you and put a bag on your head and not knowing just how close you were to having your face melted off by sulfuric acid.
And it shows, and one thing, it shows that Christian needed a connection because his life had just gone to shit and his friend was the only one that he believed in. So it sort of is it is a brotastic sort of film like
it's a real bromance.
Like Resolution was. So with that, if you want to see it with your best friend, it's a good film to watch with your best friend.
Yeah.
So with that, Danny, what's the final word?
Zipper bag linebacker.
The horror deconstruction.